it is that weird time of the year. The days are all blurring together. Most of us are barely working. Joe Biden is in the Caribbean. Washington is very quiet. But the H-1B visa has created drama in MAGA world as we barrel toward the new year with just 25 days until Trump takes over. The visa, part of the Immigration Act of 1990, allows companies to recruit foreign talent for specialty jobs, mostly in engineering, science, tech, that kind of thing. But many claim that there are loopholes that allow companies to use this visa to bring in cheap foreign labor to replace very expensive Americans. A tech entrepreneur named Sriram Krishnan was recently appointed by Trump to advise the White House on AI. This week, Krishnan is getting attacked by MAGA world for wanting to end the caps on these visas to allow more people from his native India to take these American jobs. MAGA world is out there saying this doesn't sound very America first. Controversy over the H-1B visa goes all the way back to Trump's first term and was covered like this by 60 Minutes back in 2017.
One of 220 IT workers replaced by H-1B visa employees. D'Angelo says his replacement, a worker from India, told him he was making half D'Angelo's salary with no benefits.
I didn't get laid off for lack of work. I got laid off because somebody cheaper could do my job.
I could be sitting at my desk and somebody would be flown in from another country,
right,
sit at my same desk and chair and take over what I was doing. It was the most humiliating and demoralizing thing I've ever gone through.
You see it right there. It appears Trump's new AI advisor wants to end the caps on these kinds of visas, meaning more of them, right? And he's actually getting support for this from some of the most popular people in MAGA world, including Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, and David Sachs. Vivek posting the reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over native Americans isn't because of the innate American IQ deficit, which he calls a lazy and wrong explanation. He says a key part of it comes down to the C word, culture. Tough questions demand tough answers. And if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer than that. That doesn't start in college, it starts young, Vivek says. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. Something to think about. Elon posting on Christmas Day, it comes down to this. Do you want America to win or do you want America to lose? If you force the world's best talent to play for the other side, America will lose. End of story. So their argument has been long held, right? Much of America's strength comes from skimming the cream, taking the best people from all around the world, which is what America has long done. Now, so far, Trump has not waded into this water yet, because this is a very complicated issue. And both sides, as it stands, and as you've just seen, both sides have very strong points here, make very good points. But Trump has always said that his immigration stance is he wants to end illegal immigration, but he wants to protect and even expand legal immigration. Take a look.
I want a lot of people to come into our country, but I want them to come in legally.
So the people that have been treated very unfairly are the people that have been online for 10 years to come into the country. And we're going to make it very easy for people to come in terms of they have to pass the test.
We want people to come into our country. A lot of people. We need them. We need them for jobs. We need them for everything. We want people to come in, but they have to come in through a process. They have to come in legally.
You see there. He hasn't weighed in specifically on the H-1B visa, but that's how he is on immigration, and you know that. But this issue is pitting MAGA loyalists against each other. Here's a take that you probably wouldn't expect. Nikki Haley, whose parents immigrated here from India and is seen as the moderate conservative, saying this: there is nothing wrong with American workers or American culture. All you have to do is look at the border and see how many want what we have. We should be investing and prioritizing in Americans, not foreign workers. So Nikki Haley, parents from India, not a fan of the H-1B visa, it would seem. So let's talk about this. Let's go deeper on this. Todd Bensman is an immigration expert who says these visas are bad news for the American worker. And Rick Jordan is the CEO of Reach Out Technology. He also works in AI. He says the visas are critically important. Good to see you both. Thanks for coming on. Todd, we've got Elon Musk and Vivek, who are two of the most popular Trumpers out there, who say that these H-1B visas must be protected and expanded. What's your position?
Well, those are a couple of guys who directly benefit from having cheap, slave-like labor coming in that they can replace American workers with. Elon Musk has 700 or 800 working for him. I'm here in Austin. This is where he builds the Tesla cars. I think the way to look at this is against the backdrop of the unemployed labor pool already among U.S. citizens here in the country. There is no shortage. There's an increase in unemployed U.S.-born citizens. The Center for Immigration Studies just came out with a couple of reports. They're up on our website, cis.org, showing that the number of American-born, U.S.-born men and women who are on the sidelines rose from 17%, 16% just a few years ago, 2017, to 22% now. And the total number is like 43 million. I don't know how many of those are STEM, but there's a big labor pool here.
Well, let me bring in Rick, who's kind of on the other side of this. You say these visas are very needed. I guess, what is your answer to why Americans can't do these jobs?
Yeah, I think we're not making a good separation between where these visas really are needed. I mean, you brought up Elon Musk, right? And it's not 700 or 800. Just in 2024 alone, Tesla had 1,787 H-1B visas approved. Now, if you take a look at it from this, everybody benefits from Tesla, right? Maybe not the Cybertruck these days because the demand went down a bit, but Tesla as a whole is a very huge part of American culture. You know, of course, we've got Starlink and SpaceX that go right along with that. Yeah. There would not be those companies, those American companies, if this program did not exist in the way that it is. And I appreciate, ironically, because I'm not a huge Biden fan, that the Biden administration enacted this new rule, you know, because we've got people like entrepreneurs now that are with the new rule that goes into effect where foreign entrepreneurs can come over and essentially apply for their own H-1B visa through their new company. Well, I think there should be restrictions on that, especially industry-wise. So let's say cybersecurity, but if we've got a really smart person that can go to bat for us against China or Russia, let's let them in.
Yeah. I mean, Todd, when I listen to your argument, you make good points. I think there's actually excellent points on both sides of this. I think that's why Trump's not touching it, at least not yet. But I think the one fault that I see in your argument is that you say that, you know, Elon supports it because he's got a vested interest. I don't think Elon Musk cares at all about how much money it costs him to run Tesla. I mean, he's blown tons of cash, and I think in the name of doing what he thinks is right. So it seems hard for me to believe that Elon supports this visa because he wants to save a few bucks at Tesla.
Well, okay, maybe Elon, as the richest man in the world, may be less profit motivated, although I'm sure he wants to turn a profit. But keep in mind, in recent weeks since the election, we've seen a whole bunch of Silicon Valley types go to Mar-a-Lago hat in hand, Mark Zuckerberg, et cetera. And I venture to say that, or to guess, that they're not there just to say hello, congratulations. They have interests, which is cheap labor, cheaper labor than what they'd have to pay a U.S. citizen. And that all equals profit. This is really about profit, not so much about filling jobs that Americans won't do. I think that there are lots of Americans out there who would do these jobs. There's millions, 40 million plus in the labor force that are on the sidelines, many of them with degrees. And keep in mind that within MAGA, this is just a family fight, kind of like at Thanksgiving or something. Right. But, you know, America First is all about protecting U.S. jobs. So Trump has this tension between his promise to American steel workers and auto workers that he made all during the campaign, for example, and you know, his immigration desire to bring more legal immigrants here too. It's a
that's what I'm getting at. I think you're disproving your own point there, Todd. Truly, I think you are. I mean, I like you as a human, Todd, but I mean, you're disproving your own point. You know, you're talking about auto workers, and you're really getting at manufacturing, which, yes, you know, and you're talking about Zuckerberg and all these tech tycoons that are going down to Mar-a-Lago. The key phrase is tech tycoons. And this is what I was getting at earlier, is that there should be a discrimination, almost a dissemination between the different industries, you know, because I'm with you, Todd. You know, manufacturing, absolutely. We got everybody right here. I mean, let's go back to old school where it's apprenticeships and you learn the trade and you can fill the lines and make the widgets.
Yeah.
Tech, though, is a different story. We're behind.
Well, Rick, like just, I mean, the argument is that there are loopholes, though, right? I mean, that one of the big arguments is that this visa has loopholes that allow for the replacement of expensive workers, you know, by that could have done the job. You bring in people from India that'll do it for a third of the price. So that is the argument. Now, let me just read one more. Here's a quote here from Ann Coulter. American workers can leave a company. Imported H-1B workers cannot. Tech wants indentured servants, not high-skilled workers. Your response to that, Rick, before I let you guys go.
Oh, yeah, I think that's more of a marriage is what they're talking about, because we don't want to pay all the money. I mean, from a company perspective, I understand this. I've looked at this process before, of course, bringing people over, and it's an expensive process for an employer. You know, so whether it's Tesla or Meta or anybody else, it's a very expensive process. So it's akin to that of an employment contract with an American here in the United States, is that it's a two-way commitment going into this for a specific amount of time versus what most states have that we understand is at-will employment.
Yeah.
You know, the employee can't just say, see you later, I've been here for 6 months, I'm going back to India.
Right. Right. Like, I got to leave it there, guys. But I knew this was going to be an interesting debate, and I'm very fascinated to see where the incoming president lands on this. I'm sure they're debating it probably right now themselves. Good to see you. Todd Bensman and Rick Jordan. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt tonight on Newsmax.